Hey there, hi there, ho there, everybody. It's Asada, and you're tuned into Gathering of the Griots. Thank you for being here for another Tuesday morning. We are loving how this show is going to go. I'm loving the guests. Raye Turonek. I know I'm saying that wrong, but we're going to get it right when she come back. But first, let's give homage to my girl, Naima Latif, and the Female Solution, because that's what Gathering of the Griots is about. It is on the Female Solution. Without it, we wouldn't be here. So take a look.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
All right, big ups to the Female Solution. And like I said, welcome. You are tuned into Gathering of the Griots with Asada. And we got a wonderful guest on today. I love her energy, so good. And then I love her genre. It's like, what? Who does this? Let's take a look and see her energy and see what you have in store. Watch this. You see her, right? You see how she's rolling. Let's bring her on live right now. Thank you for being here. What's up, Raye?
Hi, everybody. That geeked me up. Look. Thank you.
That's right. Look. Say that last name so I get it right.
Turonek.
I've been talking about Turonek, y'all. Let me get it right. Turonek.
Most people say Turonek.
They say that, right? Yeah. Well, welcome here today on Gathering of the Griots. Yeah, we love having you here. I have so many good questions to ask you about the books and about you. And so just tell us a little bit about you. You know, where you from? And I want to know what inspired this, but tell me where you're from first.
Well, I'm from Detroit, Michigan. My name is Ebony Turonek. I'm a mother, but I am also very, I got my hobbies and stuff. So astrology is definitely one of them. I work as well. I write screenplays. I write books. So I dabble in a lot of different things. So
we're going to get into all of that in our second half. After our 7:30 break, we're going to get into that part, the other part of you. But you are an author. I always try to figure out, how do I want to describe her? Psychological thrillers, horror, literary horror. Whoever heard of that? How would you characterize your genre? What would you say it is?
Well, I would say it's psychological thrillers and mystery suspense.
Mysteries and suspense. Okay.
Suspense. Well, more of them are on the psychological thriller side, but Compelled to Murder was my first book, and it's more of a mystery suspense thriller. I would say.
So let's get right into it. What is this book about, honey? Talk about it.
That's Compelled to Murder. That's my first book. So
right. Well, let me say this first before you go into what it's about. I want to know how you got into this genre. This whole murder, mystery, psychological thriller. How'd you get into this genre?
Well, I've always been a fan of murder mystery, psychological thrillers, scary movies. Even when I was little, I watched scary movies, all the time. So, it was just like a constant thing, even growing up. And I had a dream one night, and it happened to be a reoccurring dream, which was Compelled to Murder. So as I'm having the dream, I decided to get up and write down what I'm dreaming. So that's pretty much how I came up with Compelled to Murder. But I wrote it as a screenplay initially, because I wanted to write movies because of Steven Spielberg and seeing the making of E.T. So when I was younger, that made me want to write movies. But so that's why I wrote Compelled to Murder. And as I said, it was a reoccurring dream, that I was having. The main character in the story, it starts off pretty quick. It goes right into the action right at the beginning. John Slater, he experiences this major traumatic event, which breaks apart his family. And after that, he goes after the person who's responsible for, that affliction. But at the same time, he's finding other people where he's righting wrongs that they've, done. Now, while he's doing all of this, the person who, it's kind of like a cat and mouse, that the person who committed the crime towards him is actually watching him at the same time. So it's kind of like a cat and mouse game. His son gets involved. It's a high school setting, so the high school kids are, kind of part of it and involved. But it's you got to kind of find out who's killing who in that book, Compelled to Murder.
Girl, look, my mother was a big proponent of horror films when we were little, and I cannot say that we were like all for it, but she just got a kick out of watching us get scared out of our wits watching Poltergeist. And my brother ran out the theater watching Poltergeist and all this other stuff. And it's like, and so it's so interesting how people get around this genre and wanting to see murder. And so when did you know that this was the genre you wanted? Because when was that dream? When did that happen in your life?
I mean, I always knew it was the genre that I wanted because I watched scary movies. Like, I love scary movies. Freddy, Nightmare on Elm Street, Jake. I mean, I was on it. Like, if I was watching a movie, it was a scary movie.
Okay.
I don't even really do that too much now. I watch them, but not like I used to.
Yeah, so, you create them now. You ain't got to watch them. You create them.
That's true. That's true. But that's my thing pretty much. I've always known I was gonna write mystery, suspense and stuff because I've always liked it.
Okay. Now you did the Compelled to Murder. Mm-hmm. That was your first book. What year was that?
Compelled to Murder, and I actually wrote it and published it in 2016.
Okay, a lot of people came out with books in 2016. That was actually our first Soulful Chicago Book Fair was in 2016. How did you find us? Because we were talking yesterday and you were like, you were in our event 2018, I think you said. But like, how in the world did you find us?
Navi Robbins came to Hood Books Book Fair, and he was one of the authors there with me. And he told me about it because he and I were the only suspense thriller, psychological thrillers authors there that day at the Hood Books Book Fair.
Gotcha.
And he was chatting it up with me and he told me about it. He was like, I got this book fair in Chicago, blah, blah, blah. And that's how I got onto it. Actually, Navi did the covers for Compelled to Murder 2 and Stephen's Lineage, and the extended version as well.
Wow, that's dope because he did the cover for my book that's getting ready to come out. And I always look at the cat making an appearance. Yay.
He tried it.
He got a black cat too, y'all. But Navi is so dope. He also he's always instrumental in my covers, a lot of the authors that I'm affiliated with. And so I love that you're back and you will be with us August 9th. Tell me, what made you come back?
I always wanted to come back. Now, the first time I came, I had a little issue.
Okay.
I had a great time.
Yep.
I had a great time, but I had just a little snag because the cover of my book has a noose on the front.
Oh, wow.
And the Nation of Islam was sitting right across from me.
Did they say something?
They sure did.
What?
They sure came over to me and talked to him. I explained to him that it wasn't that kind of book, that it wasn't that type of thing, but that's
so crazy. Because I have a question that says, what were some of your challenges? And it's so funny because even though I know a noose is very intricate, integral in
Triggering.
our history. I
Triggering.
never connected. I did not connect the two. But even if it was, so what? Like,
No,
that's
but
the point.
but they felt like that because I wasn't by myself at the time. I was with Jason, and
so they were getting it.
Yeah, so they were looking like,
wow,
nerve. I'm like, listen, no.
That's so. Well, the thing about that is that when you become an author, that's the word you got to get ready for.
Yeah.
You got to get ready for the he says, she says, don't says, naysays. You got to get ready to confront them. Period. No, and stand your ground on what you're creating. So yeah. Oh, girl,
I had to, but he was an older gentleman, so I was respectful.
That's cool.
I let him know what was up.
Yeah, what was up? Well, you back. That's what I care about. You back to the book fair. Right. So what made you come on back? Because you'll be here with us August 9th.
I always wanted to come back. I've always wanted to come back. And I love Chicago. The last time I came to the book fair, I stayed up there for like 4 days. It is so much stuff to do up there. I had so much fun.
Yes, absolutely.
I was going from museums to libraries to the beach to the Navy Pier. The restaurant is beautiful.
Girl, I love it. Look, we got questions coming up already. Sanabella, she has a show here on Fridays. Hey, Sanabella, she says good morning. But she also says, is fiction writing easily written? How and where do you start? Like, where do you
I wouldn't say that it's I'm sorry.
No, you good. You good.
I wouldn't say that it's easy. If you have a vivid imagination, you can make it easier for yourself by honing your skills. Like I like to ride around in the car and make a story out of what I'm visualizing or what I see. And that can help with your creativity in writing. I would start with that. If you're doing a story, I would start with an outline, and I would start with my characters and character development, because your readers are going to want to, the first thing they're going to gravitate to is the character, which character do they like? Who do they hate? Who do they, so you have to create a pretty in-depth character. So that's probably where I would, those are the places I would start.
That's great advice, because I sure ask that question a lot, because I'm a nonfiction writer, and nonfiction is easy to me because it's facts. You dealing with your viewpoint about a thing, what you research, and that's that. But the fiction, you really got to get your creative juices in. We got a lot. I think fiction writers are the most, they're the most populated group this book fair. And usually nonfiction is real large, but we got a lot of fiction. And so you got Compelled to Murder. It came out 2016. But then what about these babies right here? What about these babies?
Compelled, that's the extended, the one with the white cover. And part 2 is the other. I extended these books to basically show that I could write for the traditional publisher, to show that I could write a large enough book. So I extended the book with the noose on it, Compelled to Murder. And that's where you get this book with the man on the cover, the white cover. That's the extended version. So it's like about 25,000 or so more words added to it.
Okay.
And part 2 is 75,000 words as well. That's a bigger book as well. So but it actually can be read as the prequel as well, because the antagonist in part 2 is actually the father of the antagonist in part 1. So if you wanted to read and find out why he became so maleficent, you can read part 2 first as a child.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's why I extended those books.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask, what's the main difference between adding those extra words? And was that something that you made a conscious decision on, or the publisher said you need to do this particular thing? Because the first book is about how many pages?
It was more the agent and the people working around the agent. Okay. Were the reason for me doing those things. Or
because your first book is what? How many pages?
My first book is 51,000 words.
What does that mean, page-wise? I don't know what that is.
That's a novel. That's considered a novel. Like a short story is like you know, or short, or a novelette is like 40,000 words. And
Okay.
then you go to a novelette 50,000. So
Got you.
51,000. And then, you know, the 75,000 is a novel as well, but it's more what the traditional publishers go with, because it has to be at least 75,000 words for the traditional publisher.
And what would you say, in doing this process, how did this differ? How do the stories really differ from the first take on the book? I know you said relative wise is kind of different.
There's extra action. There's extra characters added. Yeah, there's more detail. But mostly more action and more characters, more killings. You know, more detail. A whole nother plot, you know, was added on. And that actually helped me to go into you know, part 2, because those extra people, you know, I made their story more.
How do you do that though? Because I would be sitting there. I imagine myself being like, "What? I gotta add on? Like, add on to what? Where do you get the imagination to create the extra?"
It just comes to me. Like if I'm, you know, especially if I'm feeling like I've already written around, I'm trying to write stuff, I'm trying to gather the ideas to come up with something next. It'll come to me. If I rest and meditate, especially if I meditate, you know, I meditate on it, talk about it to my ancestors.
I know that's right, girl.
I'm like, they hook me up.
Yeah, pull on them.
Go and take that idea.
Yeah.
So, yeah, cool. That's pretty much what I do. Anything I can't do, I pray.
I know that's right, girl. Let it be known. Ask for the divine to help you out.
You know,
maybe Sannabella's going to write a fiction story. She has another question. Let's say it says, are any of your characters based on real people you know? And then, actually, that question came from Naima. Are any of your characters based on real people you know, right? But then Sannabella says, character development. Has any of the people in your life helped UPS to develop characters, or is it purely fictional?
Okay, so yes, that's a loaded question.
Which one was loaded?
Okay. Have I used any people in my real life?
Okay.
Because it's like I take some of their attributes. Okay, so I used to work at Clarkston Post Office, and Rule Route 8 and Rule Route 8 Part 2, the last 2 books I did under the traditional publisher. I took some of the characteristics of the people, you know, there. Yes, to do my characters. And even one of my good friends, his story was used as well. But, you know, he came to me like, oh, use this story. This is good, you know. So I just changed it and did what I had to do. But for the most part, the beginning of, you know, Rural Route 8 is pretty much true, you know.
And let me see. Interesting. We got a little bit of, we gonna show a little bit of that. So talk about that. Talk about these boobies. You got Rural Route 8 and Deadliest Intuition. Talk a little bit about those books.
Okay, so I wrote Deadliest Intuition first. That was the first book I wrote under the traditional publisher. And then after I wrote that book, they signed me for a contract to do another set of books. Okay. So that was the Rural Route series.
Okay.
But Deadliest Intuition is a psychological thriller. It's based in Detroit, Michigan. So it has a lot of Michigan monuments and things like that, streets and stuff. So if you live in Detroit, you definitely want to, you know, pick that up if you like psychological thrillers. But the main character, Ronald Dooley, in this book, he pretty much keeps to himself. He's pretty much the only one left within his family, because he's already lost his mom and his father. He's older, about in his 20s. But a tragic event happened at the beginning of the book with his little sister, and she's still with him as an apparition, as a spirit, and she compels him to stop people from doing bad things, and sometimes it gets a little out of hand, which makes him unable to find love, but love comes his way anyway. So he tries to navigate that in the midst of keeping his, I guess, nefarious deeds hidden, but they're not really nefarious because he's doing it for a good reason. So it's kind of the reader has to kind of judge whether they are on Ronald's side or not in the book. And then you'll find out if he actually wins Gertrude's heart, gets with her and tells her the truth, or, he has to protect her from, everything that's going on. It's a lot of twists and turns in that book.
That's in the intuition book?
Deadliest Intuition.
Deadliest Intuition. Okay. Yes. And then what about Rural 8?
Now, Rural Route 8.
Rural Route 8, yeah.
Yeah, Rural Route 8 is based in Clarkston, Michigan. At the beginning, it's not. It's about a man. He's in the Marines, okay, at the beginning, of the book. And he gets dishonorably discharged. And something traumatic, of course, happens to him as well when he comes home. I can't tell you guys what happened. But anyway, he's supposed to be on psych meds. He has to find a job, re-enter into society. And things just aren't really going the way he needs them to go. Not to mention, because he's been dishonorably discharged, he doesn't have, his medicine like he needs it enough. And when it runs out, we are, the people in the book are basically left to deal with his erratic behavior.
Okay.
And triggers.
Got you.
Yeah. And then part 2 of that book, one of his victims is actually the antagonist in part 2, and it's a woman. Oh. And she's coming to basically not necessarily get revenge, I wouldn't say. She is definitely looking, for him, but she's also kind of triggered.
Have you written part 2 yet? It's not out?
Yeah, part 2's out. Rural Route 8 part 2. Yeah. It's called Unrequited Love.
Oh, I didn't see that cover. Did you give me that?
It looks just like the other cover, but it has, I think, a mail truck on the front of it.
Okay.
It's very subtle differences.
Okay.
From the part 2. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. And I love that you keep creating that. Like what do your children think? You opened up saying that you were a mother, and you have a 13-year-old, and what else?
I have a 13-year-old. She'll be 14 in August. Okay. So I have a 12-year-old, and then I have a 19-year-old, a 21-year-old, and a 23-year-old.
Why are you so fine? Why are you so fine? How you get all them kids? You so fine.
Thank you. I don't eat meat. I don't do a lot of stuff. I don't, candy and just a bunch of crap. So I try to keep myself. I exercise, drink a lot of water.
Nice.
Keep myself together,
Nice. Now, what do they have to say? Because, they already see moms and dads as whatever, whoever we are. But you're like a cool mom to me. You do what? You do horror in literature. What are they saying about that? What have they said?
My 19-year-old down, they are just fanatic. They love it. My older two, they don't care. They don't care.
That's funny.
They're proud of me, but they don't, really get off into it, like that. But the other ones, they read my books. They take them to school, tell the teacher, they on it. They try to create their own little YouTubes and businesses on the side. So
nice. Nice. Setting the example. I mean, it's as simple as that. I guess that kind of leads me to my next question about what do you feel like your purpose is with this line, this genre? Like, you just want to drive us. Somebody said something in that video about nightmares, and what's your purpose for doing this genre?
My whole purpose for writing the book is to make Compelled to Murder a movie. That's the whole objective in the first place. I didn't even want to write books at first. I wrote it as a screenplay. A publishing company wrote me back and asked me to switch it to book form. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I like reading books and stuff, but I'm not about to write a book. And I waited 10 years before one of my grandparents was like, write the book, Ebony. And then just because, my grandmother, Patricia Turonek, told me to do it, I did it. And then it just took off from there. So, but my main objective is to make Compelled to Murder a movie, even if it's Compelled to Murder 1, 2, and I do like the series, or, there's a lot of different ways I can do it. But once I do that, that's pretty much, my objective. I'm an astrology girl and buff. I love astrology. So even if I just started my own business with astrology and tarot, I could even do that because I love, astrology and tarot. So I definitely want to delve more into my spirituality.
I was going to ask that. I was going to ask how much of what you do normally and what you're into, how much does it influence your work? Because you do sort of see this world. People could see astrology however they want to see it, but tarot, what is that? Is there a spiritual connection to the work that you do?
No, I kind of keep that pretty much separate. Okay. You might find little references here and there, but I'm not the girl you'd be like, oh, you open her book and she's like, this person is a Scorpio, this person is Aquarius, this person is not. My stories are about what it's sure. It's a real, So I don't really input, too much of that in there. That's separate for me. I use astrology in everyday life. I post astrology on my page every Tuesday on my Facebook page, and every Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. It's on my Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. It's on my YouTube, Enchantress Press Astrology, as well.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. We're definitely gonna get into that, no doubt about it. Now, you have the work that you've done, but they've moved into anthologies. You're part of some anthologies, right?
They didn't move me, but I'm a hybrid author, so I can do traditional or I can do self-published, either one. And I did these anthologies.
Oh, wonderful.
Because, Ebony Evans of ICU Reading and Chatting asked me to be a part of these anthologies. So that is why I'm a part, of these.
So talk about it. Are these other authors that you've brought to the table?
Yes.
They write the same genre?
They do. They all write, but some of them write in, different genres. They might add a little more horror, like Kenya Moss Dime. She has, she's really good at horror, like horror. If you haven't read her book Progeny, that's something you might want to check out from her. Okay. But all of them, are wonderful writers, each and every one of them. And they're still writing, and there are other anthologies, that will be coming out. But Vanished was the latest one that we all did together. There's actually a freestyle cipher part 1. I'm not even in that one. Okay. But am I in that one?
She don't. Am I in that one, girl?
I might be.
But you created it. Your name is on it. Your name is on it.
I would know if I was. I don't think I'm.
It's saying at the bottom, Raye Turonek.
I be doing too much. I'm doing too much.
It's all good, girl. You got it.
Check them out. Right. Actually, if you check out this Thursday, if you are a part of Melanated Girls Read, on Thursday, I'm doing a book giveaway, or we are doing a book giveaway in Melanated Girls Read for Vanished for free. So we're giving away a few copies. So if you're interested in getting a copy and reading and reviewing, check out Melanated Girls Read on Thursday.
Now Melanated Girls Read is a Facebook page.
There's a Facebook page. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. It's on Facebook. They're on Instagram, TikTok, all over the place. But the giveaway is going to be in the Facebook group.
Okay. I love it. Now, you guys, if you are tuned in, I have her website at the bottom of the page, because there's a button on your website where they could go buy all the books, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot of buttons you can press to go to, different things.
Sure. And so that's www.eraybook.com. Okay. And go to that website, book. Don't put no S on there.
Yeah.
It's book, eraybook.com. And then you will see all of the books that she's written, how to get them. They got a great, talks about her. So I'm going to leave that up there for you guys to see so that you can go ahead and purchase those books. But what we're going to do, we're going to take a break. The time is going fast. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we have more to learn about my girl Raye. And stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these messages.
The Soulful Chicago Book Fair, Woodlawn's premier summer event, returns to 61st Street between Cottage Grove and King Drive, Saturday, August 9th, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Join us for another celebration of literary works by and about the Black experience, featuring children's books, fiction books, and non-fiction works by local and international authors. The main stage will host an entertainment lineup second to none, with Pari Lemuel, Aniba and the Soul Stars, and the mesmerizing Moo Moo Fresh. Special guest, DJ Celeste. The community stage features a variety of family-friendly performances, such as DJ sets produced by IC Music, an organization that trains and promotes blind audio engineers. All this and more, Saturday, August 9th, free and open to all. Be there. Visit SoulfulChicagoBookFair.com for more information.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun.
Yes.
And you all are going to be able to meet Raye on August 9th, big time. If you buy her books now, you'll be able to get them signed. But if you get them live, then you're going to get them signed, take pictures. It's going to be so good. So I'm so happy you are back big time because you don't, there's not, it's not a lot of brothers and sisters who take on this genre. I feel, I feel like we do a ton of love, the sex, drugs, but how much of that you're gonna read. But it takes a little imagination or a lot of imagination to go this route. Now, what are some of the challenges you faced with going this route, or have you had any challenges with going this route other than the one you did with the Nation of Islam in front of you?
That was right. That was jarring, but it was cool. I handled it. But I haven't really had any challenges, writing this genre. I did make sure that I made my name to where when I came out initially, they wouldn't know that I was a Black woman, just because I know, writing this kind of genre, they typically expect you to be a male.
Interesting.
Or a white male.
Interesting.
More specifically. So with me changing my name to Raye Turonek, it sounded more.
Yeah, you can't tell.
Yeah, you couldn't.
Last name in Jenkins, Brown, Williams, whatever.
You know what I'm saying? That's why that's why I came out with it like that. So I could try to avoid some of the pitfalls that may be experienced as a Black woman writing psychological thrillers. But no, I haven't had any issues. Everyone has been welcoming from every race and genre. Yeah. It's been wonderful.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Now, you have these other dimensions to who you are, and I want to look at this. Tell us a little bit about Mental Chatter Musings. What is that?
That's pretty much that's my books. That's what I sell my books under, and stuff like that, Mental Chatter Musings. But Enchantress Press Astrology is the other part of me. That's more my tarot and astrology.
Talk about them both.
I've already pretty much talked about Mental Chatter Musings. That's, my books, my psychological thrillers, mystery suspense thrillers, and things of that nature. But
just your books, or can other people, is that a publishing company that other people can come on?
No, that's just my books.
Got you. Okay, continue.
That's my LLC.
Got you. Okay, continue.
But Enchantress Press Astrology is, although it's, pretty much under the same LLC or faction, but that is my astrology that I do on YouTube and I post on Facebook. And, within that company as well, I also do tarot readings and natal chart analysis for people so they can, find out more about themselves and things like that. Because a lot of people think with astrology, oh, okay, well, I'm a Taurus, so, and that didn't happen to me and it happened to the other Taurus, but that's because you're a Taurus at a certain degree. You might be a Taurus born at 3 degrees of Taurus. You're not going to feel the same thing a person at 10 degrees of Taurus feels. And, so with that being said, you have to know your chart. And within your chart, you have a lot of different signs in a lot of different areas, and they're all under different degrees. So if a planet is at a certain degree, it's only going to affect you if it's within 3 degrees of your degree, whether it's behind it or in front of it, 3 degrees. And once it triggers that area, you can pretty much predict whether you're going to get opportunities, assistance, blessings, trouble, deal with fate, karma. And it just depends on the area that you're dealing with. You put things together and you can predict what's happening and going on. So I help people do that. I help people figure out their chart, and I post the astrology so they can compare it to their chart and know what's going on.
Yeah, my chart, my name Asada came from my chart. Did you know Phil Coran and who that was?
No.
So Phil Coran was an elder here in Chicago. Mm-hmm. He is the gentleman who taught Earth, Wind, and Fire how to play that thumb piano, that kalimba.
Okay.
And he did a whole musical score for the Museum of Science and Industry called African Skies back in the day. But he was heavy into astrology. And so he did my chart. And it was very similar to my mom's. Mm-hmm. And the name Asada was in it. But it was important that we chose the Asada, Asadah, which means lioness, versus Assata, like Asada Shakur, which means she who struggles. I was like, I don't struggle, so we're not doing that. So
I didn't know that. That's crazy. And your name can really affect,
yes,
your destiny.
No doubt about it. So I felt when I got that Asada lioness, I was like, agreed, I'm taking that. Right. Yeah, and definitely, he laid out where the planets were and all of that good stuff. But yeah, he used to rock with astronomy and astrology. Ooh. And was no joke with the music and adding the numbers and music and all of those good things. So I'm glad to see that you're in that realm. Yeah. This is something that I put up. My girl, boom, author, screenwriter, astrologer, tarot reader. Let's go. I want to talk a little bit more about the screenwriting part, because we know that the original goal was to make the book a movie. Mm-hmm. And so was it written that way first for the screen? And then how are you incorporating that now and into the future?
Yeah, I wrote it as a screenplay, for the screen initially, and had to switch it to book form, which definitely was not easy. But, once you learn how to write a screenplay, you can also do training, on YouTube to learn how to write a screenplay. You can also, there are books, and texts that you can get as well that help you with screenwriting. But, once you do that and you're able to, at first I kind of had to show that I could do it and write it, wrote screenplays for, an agent, and had to kind of show it. But once I'm, into it and, got more into it, then at that point you can just take them and switch them from book form to screenplay form and get paid for it.
And that's what you do, right? Don't you do that for people? Like you write,
or you can make.
Yeah. Talk about that, because you can do it for others, right?
Yeah, not too big of a book. Now, I'm not going to do something that's like 75,000 words, but if, you have something that's like 50,000 words and below, I do those.
Gotcha.
So 75 is a little, I'm not trying to jump up that far. Yeah. And then I also, work on screenplays with other authors as well.
Right.
I can't really talk about those.
Yeah.
That come out.
But you do that.
Yeah.
It seemed like that would be hard to me to go, well, what do you feel is the main difference between when you say you had to change it from a screenplay to a book? What was the challenge in that? Because you said it was hard.
It was hard because you're putting all that detail into it. With a screenplay, it's like you got to pretty much take all of the detail out. It's more like direction, you know, because you got to be able to compact all of that into like 85, if you're pushing it, kind of like 90 pages.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so you have to you have to add a lot of detail to it when you're switching it to book form. So that was my thing, adding all the detail to it, and coming up with inventive ways to describe things. Because when you're doing the screenplay, you're not describing it in depth like that. The color, enrichment, and you know, all of that. You know, you have to kind of let the director handle that afterwards. You know, what he wants to do. But yeah, so that's pretty much the difficult part, adding the details, switching it over to book form. And that's why I didn't want to do it. Okay. Because it was going to be a lot of work. And I was like, I already did this. and that wasn't the only screenplay I had written. I had another screenplay called A Curse of Madness that I switched to, that I had in screenplay form that I had to switch to book form. That's interesting. Actually about to come out soon. I'm going to change the name though, I think. Okay. But, you know, I put little snippets of it in my newsletter that comes out every month. Okay. So that's a whole nother thing that, you know.
So when you write your screenplays, what are you waiting for then? Like somebody to pick it up? Are you shopping it to theaters? Like, how does that work?
Well, my screenplays that, you know, that I have written, I have a specific place that, you know, or a person that I want to work with. So I'm not going to reveal that. But the other screenplays, as far as like, if you're, you know, that I've written for like agents or, you know, other people and things like that, they just pay me and then, you know, that's it. That's their screenplay.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Got you.
No, because you have to sign that, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything about it, or you're not going to take it or say, hey, I really wrote that, or, you know, try to convince, you know, you got to just kind of take that money.
Okay.
On about your business. So
you hear that, authors should write the screenplay to your book. You hear that?
Yeah. Or if you have ideas of what you want written, an idea, then I'll put it in that format for you.
Got you. Can they contact you via the website here?
Via mentalchattermusings@gmail.com.
Okay.
Email address. Even if you go to my website, you can reach my email. If you go on my Facebook, I got all of my links on there. You can find me.
Got you. Perfect. Now let me find this out, because this is something I saw customers with these books, baby, lined up. Talk a little bit about what is the customer feedback about the work that you do.
My customers love me. I don't really like to even call them, you know, customers, but you know, the people that read my literature, they really come through for me. You know, they contact me. They know they can contact me. Some of them even get tarot readings and stuff like that, you know, afterwards, because, you know, the ones have been with me for a long time as well, you know, and they know I'm open to talking to them and chatting with them and stuff like that. They really inspire me to keep going. You know, that's my auntie over there in the corner. This is actually the Hood Books Book Fair. These pictures here in Detroit. But
nice.
Nice. Yeah. The people that read my literature, that contact me, I really like when they do that. It really makes me feel good. They really lift me up. They'll tag me in posts and stuff like that, or they'll just message me, you know, and sometimes I want to post the message, but then I'm like, you know what, I'm going to keep this.
There's that, you know, a lot of times I think it's important for people to hear how your work is impacting people, and to, because you can say what you want about your work, but then what do others say about the work?
Absolutely.
Just like that video, you know, they was like, what? Don't sleep, hitting the nightmare mode, you know, just whatever the feedback is, it's important for people to know that they have that feedback, and that your book is alive in the lives of other people. And so you ever, are there like events that look for you? You know how they got Comic-Con, and you go to Comic-Con and the people that's into comics go to that. Is there anything particular for your genre of work?
Well, I don't particularly go to anything, large just for mystery, suspense, or psychological thrillers or anything like that. But I do attend different book fairs. I do attend women's expos and things like that. So, but not anything like that's huge for just thriller or just suspense or anything like that.
Does that even exist? Do you know?
I'm sure it does. It has to, because if they have Comic-Con, it's probably not like Comic-Con, but I mean, I'm sure there's a big suspense thriller or psychological thriller, maybe book event, but I haven't seen.
Would you create that?
I would be willing to create it with other authors.
Right. Okay.
I do psychological thrillers, suspense thrillers, but there are other authors who will do more of like paranormal, like Tony LaRue. So I would have to couple with other authors as well and decide, hey, let's do a big book fair for just psychological thriller authors. But I would be willing to do something like that in the coming years, of course.
Yeah, think about that. I can help you.
That's what's up in Chicago.
Hey, look,
that's what I'm talking about.
I'm G for expansion now. Don't play no games, but I think that if it doesn't exist, you create it. That's how I get down. As opposed to looking outside of myself for that thing. If it don't exist, that's kind of how the book fair came about, because I was like, why is the home of Gwendolyn Brooks, Lorraine Hansberry, Richard Wright, why is this city not have a huge book fair? I'm not really clear about that for our community. And so instead of looking to others to create it, I decided to create it.
The way you put that book fair together is amazing. Like you do so much stuff, and you're, even with promoting it, like you're getting with the authors, giving them promotion. You do so much stuff. I don't even know how you do it. That's why I'm like, I would have to have multiple people with me, because that's crazy.
Yeah, the one woman show is a thing. It definitely is a thing. But I think that when you look at expansion and servicing these other authors, that's the only direction you end up going in, is making a place for us to prosper. And I can see sort of what they call like cult followings coming to your event. Like there's people that love horror just like you, but to make it so that our community, it reflects what we have. Because you could get into spirituality and all of that just by touching our culture. And you could go into Haitian, you could go into Yoruba, you could go into and deal with deities and deal with, things that are paranormal. I know there's a book of Water and the Spirit by this brother named Patrice Malidoma Some. And when you read that, you feel like you looking at Star Trek, because the experience is he walking through trees, like it's all these kind of in-depth spiritual experiences that don't go with the physical universe that you're used to. So I'm just saying it's a thing to think about, and it would make sense for you to lead that because of who you are and the books that you have. So if you want to get into that'll kind of be really dope. Now I want to bring this up because this promotion here, right? It says, is this something that happened already? It did, right? In 2019?
That's Grant Hudson. He's an author and publisher, and he is the owner and operator, of Clarendon House books. So
is Inner Circle a magazine of that?
That's a magazine, the Inner Circle magazine. It's a group on Facebook as well. It's out of the United Kingdom.
Oh, wonderful.
So he's in England.
So you was down with the England crew, huh?
Yeah, he is. I call him King. He is so awesome. He is wonderful. But he has a group as well.
How did you get picked up by somebody in Europe?
I was in that Inner Circle group. I was in his writers group, and I would post in there and stuff like that in the group. And, I'm assuming he saw some of the stuff that I would post, because he would have dates on there, like Mondays, when you can post like your business or what you do or about your books. And I did that. And I guess he followed me kind of to my page and kind of started watching me on all the stuff that I do. And just over the years, he came to the, observation or conclusion of, him wanting to spotlight me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And made you known across the seas, baby. That's what we want, that type of exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you see as the future of the books? How many more books you think you have in you? Are the books that exist, do they have more to come? I mean, you've talked a little bit about one of them have a part 2. What's the future?
You know what? Everything. Because I don't really pinpoint anything down to what I will and won't do or what I'm going to do. I have books that I'm writing right now. I have screenplays that I'm writing right now. You know, I'm always, I just do whatever. People call me on the phone like, you interested? You want to do this? I'm like, yeah, I'll do that with you. You know, it's just, I'm more of a free bird. So, because I don't like being controlled or tied down. So I'm more of like, you know, I like to venture wherever I want to venture. We're free to do what we want to do. This is our destiny. We make our own destiny. So
say that.
So hey.
That's right. Say that big time. Yeah. So now, do you have a Chicago connection that so that when you come to the book fair August 9th, that you know people are here, they want to experience E-Raye? Like, do you need to establish more of a Chicago?
I mean, I know people, you know what I'm saying, in Chicago. There are people, you know, that are on my friends list that are in Chicago. Some of my cousins are coming with me, you know, and I have relatives that live in Chicago, but you know, so yeah.
Yeah, promote it. It's a destination location, no doubt about it. You have people know you're here. Also, if you guys want to call, and let me see if we got any callers on here. If you want to call in, I put the number at the bottom, guys. It's 727-731-5192. You can call in. We don't have much time. We got about 5 minutes or so left. But if you want to call in and speak to E-Raye, please do. If you want to continue to comment, please do. We have a couple of comments that were up a little earlier. Sanabella asks, what kind of reading do you do other than fiction, or do you?
Astrology. If I'm not reading fiction books, I'm in something about astrology or the planets, or you know, that's pretty much. I'm real geeky about that and what that. I got my head where the planets are a lot of the day. Nice. So that's pretty much what I read outside of that. I mean, I do read all kinds of fiction, you know, romance, different genres. But as far as nonfiction, I keep it to the sciences.
Keep it to the sciences. She also asked, do your kids write as well? Because I know my daughter's 21. Her first book came out when she was 7 years old. But she brought out a book because her mama was an author. That's what I knew how to do. So, yeah, do you find that your children read? I mean, write? Do they write?
My son, the 19-year-old, he likes to write and draw. My son, my older son, he's really good at writing, even though he's more of, you know, he doesn't write. He writes, he can, but he doesn't want to get off into it. So no, I don't think anybody. My daughter Abigail wants to be a doctor. See, she doesn't want to write. So nobody really wants to write. They read, but they don't necessarily want to write, you know. Cool. I have to kind of force Abigail to read, actually.
You ain't got to tell me. It's a whole different thing. I remember telling my daughter, she was like 7 or 8, and I was trying to encourage her to read and talking about how stories take you to different places. And by the time I finished my little soliloquy, she's talking about, what you fail to realize is that I'm not you. I was like, oh. Okay, well, there's that, right?
They'll say that. I'm not like you, Mom. I just don't, you know. I'm like,
yeah. And it is what it is, you know, but we are who we are, and they chose us as parents.
Absolutely.
That's what I believe.
Sure did.
They chose us as
parents. Need these good books.
That's right. Let it roll. It's an inheritance, you know. Get in where you fit in. That's what I feel.
That's right. Find your talent, find your creativity, and get out there too, because that's our purpose. We got to find, you know, within us what our gift is, because it's not just only working for somebody in the outside world. You have your own way to create. You just got to figure out what your gift is.
That's it. Bottom line. I'm going to put that website at the bottom again, guys. It's www.erayebook.com. For those that are only listening, that's ERAYE book.com. That's where you can find all about her books, purchase them there as well. And man, what would you say? I mean, what's your ideal scene for the book fair when you come in on August 9th? What would you love to happen?
I would, you know what? The last time I was there, besides that little, it was perfect. It was perfect. The music was going. There were tons and tons of spectators and participants and, people in the crowd. You even had, bands actually out there in the aisles, a couple of like kids that were doing their music, drums and different stuff like that. You had the different food trucks, the food. It was actually beautiful. I would love for the weather to be nice.
Yes.
The weather was good. It was actually really hot, but you had the tents.
Yeah.
It was so wonderful. So I would love to have that same, atmosphere, but even more.
Yeah. No doubt about it. We work to bring out thousands of folks, thousands.
So many.
We want you. Thank you, and we want y'all to do it too.
From every race, color, and creed too.
You better let them know, baby. Come up and down, and when you look at some of the pictures of our groups, you see that. You do see Black folks, white folks, everybody just coming on through, and while the writers are primarily Black. There is that story, and the stories, the reason why we do the book fair is because there's stories that don't get told from our perspective. Like your Black culture. Right. Come on now. Our culture run the whole world. Like, stop playing. So we have to bring it. We got to bring it. We bring it, not the interpretation. Don't blackface what we do. Shut up. Bella also said this was stimulating and revealing as well. But how long did it take you to get your first book out?
So I wrote it in screenplay form in like 2000, and I started because it was around 2004, 2006, because I did Curse of Madness too. So I'm trying to remember, But anyway, I didn't switch it over to book form until 2016. And it took me about, once I started, writing and getting through it, it probably took me about, I would say 3 or 4 months to, get it done. Within 6 months, it was published and out there. And I was blessed enough and lucky enough to work with a lady at the post office who is actually one of the administrators at ICU Reading and Chatting. Also, my brother is friends with the president of ICU Reading and Chatting. They work together, and that's how we all became friends. And they read my book, and that's how it came out and actually kind of like, was able to get out to so many readers. Compelled to Murder was first through my first opening ICU Reading and Chatting book group. Ebony Evans and Tina Smith. Tina's an editor as well. Nice. Ebony's an author too. Her book is Dead to Me. That's her first book.
Okay, good. Well, look at you promoting other authors.
I gotta,
That's right. That's how you know you legit. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know you good energy, because it's so much for all of us. You don't have to just take it all, Yeah,
but put your books out there.
Come on, it's so much for all of us. I want to thank you, girl. We're out of time, but you've been wonderful today. Thank you so much
for having me.
Yep, I look forward to seeing you August 9th.
Yes.
Bringing that Detroit energy through. Thank you so much, my girl.
Thank you. Have a blessed one.
All right, peace. Bye. You guys, see us next Tuesday here on Gathering of the Griots. We love you. Peace. And thank you for your comments. Take care.
Thank you.
All right.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, zhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jareh. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessing.